Turning now to the Middle East, Israel is launching strikes on the last major Hamas stronghold in the city of Rafah in Gaza. Those actions coming as President Biden is pushing back on Israel's attacks. Chris Mitchell brings us the story from Jerusalem.
In his harshest criticism yet, President Biden slammed Israel's military campaign in his press conference Thursday night.
I'm of the view, as you know, that the conduct of the response in Gaza, in the Gaza Strip, has been over the top.
The president also talking about the negotiations to free the remaining hostages and mixing up the leaders of Mexico and Egypt. National Security spokesman John Kirby also warned Israel about its plans to attack Hamas in its last stronghold in the city of Rafah on the border of Egypt.
I could tell you that absent any full consideration of protecting civilians at that scale in Gaza, military operations right now would be a disaster for those people, and it's not something that we would support.
Israel's operation into Rafah has begun with airstrikes. Since it's on the Egyptian border, Prime Minister Netanyahu promised coordination with Egypt. For now, Hamas rules Rafah, a key city to its survival. Some analysts believe Hamas uses the area to keep a stranglehold on the humanitarian aid coming into Gaza, a major way to control the people of Gaza. Hamas uses more than 1 million Gazans who have fled to Rafah as human shields. NBC is reporting Israel is open to allowing Hamas mastermind Yahya Sinwar to go into exile in exchange for the release of all the hostages and the end of Hamas rule in the Gaza Strip. On Thursday, Israeli Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant said the IDF has uncovered a treasure trove of documents about massive funds transferred to Hamas.
What we see is that Yahya Sinwar takes care of himself first and foremost. Out of millions of dollars, 1 million goes to him. Out of tens of millions, he puts what he needs into his pocket.
Gallant said Sinwar is now a fugitive on the run. In the north, IDF troops continue to train in anticipation of a potential war with Hezbollah. The head of the Air Force said dozens of aircraft are operating above South Lebanon, and when an order is given, that number could expand to hundreds, carrying out missions within minutes. There's been anticipation for months that a major war can break out between Israel and the Iranian-backed Hezbollah. Amid the fighting on multiple fronts, Prime Minister Netanyahu made clear to reporters that the United Nations Relief and Works Agency will have to be replaced after Israel has provided information alleging that around a dozen UNRWA workers took part in the Hamas terrorist attacks on October 7th. In the meantime, the Jerusalem Post released the findings of a survey that found since October 7th, 1/3 of Israelis have experienced a stronger faith in God. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Our viewers do need to pray about a possible full-scale war with Hezbollah. Israel involved in that, Gordon?
Yeah, so we do need to be praying for Israel. And I want to say this to anyone, if you're the President of the United States or anyone else that wants to say the Israeli response is over the top, just imagine it was your daughter who was being taken and then held in a dark tunnel underneath Gaza. What would your response be? The response that Israel is having is absolutely necessary. The rocket attacks from Hamas have been going on for years. What happened on October the 7th was over the top. It was the pure face, the face of pure evil. And any response that would be less than what Israel is trying to do, to say Hamas can't exist anymore, would not be accepted by the Israeli people and would not be, if my daughter's in that tunnel, yes, please go in, do whatever is needed to get her free. And that needs to be the world standard here. Hamas needs to unconditionally surrender. Hamas needs to turn over all the hostages. There needs to be new government in Gaza. There needs to be a demolishing of all the terror tunnels, no more rocket attacks, so Israel and Gaza can live at peace. Anything less than that is absolutely unacceptable.